care of every door and every lock in the district as it is, so he is pretty busy.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jamie.
Good job, man. Y'all do a fast start on this project.
4.5, Board Policy 2122. I was asked to put this back on the agenda by Mr. Hickman. So, Mr. Hickman, you have 2 attachments, and
Yeah, I see the attachments. I did request some time on the agenda in order to address the 20 April motion. One of the problems with that motion is it goes beyond our board policies and extends to freedom of speech violations. Of course, I see that you put these attachments on there, and I think we seem to be going down the road of more lesson time to the bad boys, and which is concerning to me because I had some issues with that already.
I just had them attached, that way every board member would have knowledge of both the policy and the meeting minutes that was written down. That's why I had them.
Yeah, I remember that
It wasn't
vividly.
against bad boys, it was about information.
I remember that
For
meeting.
everybody.
I asked if you had attached, because I didn't remember what the motion was.
Yeah.
So,
But,
it weren't nothing about the bad boys, it was about, this is what was out there, so we didn't have to go backwards. So that's what it is.
Okay, well, I'm a little touchy about this because this whole situation is based on a false premise anyway. And I would like to, I see it's not an actionable item tonight, I would like to make it an actionable item eventually, and I would like to make a statement concerning this tonight. If that's in order.
You got the floor.
Thank you. The motion originally said that this board, no member of this board send any issue to any legislator or anybody in Raleigh without the full board having knowledge of it. In the discussion at that time, it was recognized that the motion was essentially our own board policies. That's true, but there's more to it. Eventually the motion, or actually the motion goes beyond our policies and extends to freedom of speech violations. For example, I have a right to see my representative. I have a right to see the Attorney General, or the Insurance Commissioner, or my eye doctor in Raleigh, without board approval. The way this thing's stated, I don't. And that needs to be addressed. And then further than that, I guess it's one of those. I'm still a little paranoid about. I feel like I'm a renegado in this. Renegado. Well, you got dictionary. I feel obliged to protest that course, certainly on freedom of speech grounds, but also further, and this is a big one to me too, on procedural justice grounds, which include problems concerning fairness, transparency, and due process. Let's be clear. I do have a right as a citizen to speak with one of my representatives. Furthermore, I told this board in April the circumstances of my chance encounter with a state representative. Most of the membership of this board just chose not to believe me and to disregard what I said entirely. Mrs. Booth, got no issues with you.
Excuse me, I didn't hear what
I
you
said I've got no issues with you.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine.
I'm nothing personal here.
Okay.
I know you don't know me very well, and I suspect someone you know better has convinced me that I've engaged in some kind of egregious behavior. Others may be in that boat too. Around the room, I think several of you probably are. Some of you know me for a while and should know better. At the least, I would have expected some consideration of my side of it. And I must note that courtesy was not extended for whatever reasons or for whatever motives. It is well past time for someone to present whatever evidence you think you have on me so I can item by item defend my reputation. This has gone too far. I've been tolerant to a fault. My family has noticed, my friends have noticed, and my constituents have noticed. They are appalled, and I am appalled. But whatever you think of me, you just don't have the right to restrict constitutional rights by de facto additional expansions of board policies.
Could I, Mr. Hickman,
Let me
could I follow?
stop, because it all came back from what the phone call that was to me.
And I dispute that phone call. And I did it on the 20th of April
Yeah.
also. Y'all didn't pay me any mind at all. And you know what? I told you the 100% truth.
I didn't, and I don't dispute you, and I know you're telling me the truth. You're telling me the truth, but that's the same thing that he told me on that phone. And I didn't call any names. I didn't call any person out. I just said, he stated that a board member called him and asked for it to be on the thing, and on the,
I don't know who that board member is.
Who was the board member?
I can only go by what he's telling me.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of accusations thrown that night, and I think it's fair to us, if you're gonna accuse us
I
that
didn't accuse, I just said, he said a
we
board
got
member.
drilled that night for 40 minutes.
40 minutes. In front of my
It's on
family.
video, I can show you the video.
I've seen the video. I'm just telling you what was told to me by the representative when he called me.
There was a lot of false statements that night, and we got caught the brunt of it. I didn't even know what you were talking about.
I didn't either.
And
I was
still
wondering
don't.
which ones it was. I finally figured out, gosh, it's me.
I would like to make a-
I was told that he would not tell me who the board member was.
TW, can I make a statement?
Yes,
You
sir.
didn't talk to me, so it won't me.
Good.
Okay, here's my statement. My statement is that Board Policy 2100 and 2122 already has a policy for appropriate actions by board members, what we're found under.
I agree.
And this new section 8L that says no member of this board send any issue to any legislature, anybody in Raleigh without the full board knowledge of it, that is an infringement of freedom of speech. And it also, I'll give you an example. If my wife has a medical issue, the way this reads, and I want to speak to a representative about medical issues that's going on in Raleigh, I've got to come to this board and tell you about that issue. This is a wide open statement. And I think it needs to be removed because we've already got a policy on our conduct.
I
I don't call our representatives and legislatures and talk to them about board policy. I've spoken in public arenas. I'm an elected official, and when I get up and speak, I always say that I am not representing the Board of Education. I'm representing my own opinions. And I will say that just like that.
I understand.
And so I understand the importance of us being careful not to insinuate that we're representing this body, because we're just one person. And I realize that it's the whole body that makes the decision.
I think that's where Keith, the representative, got into confusion because he said that it came from the board. And I said, not that I know of.
Yeah.
And that was a phone conversation that I had on that phone that day when he called me. So
But
he would not tell me the representative, and I respect him for that, just like I respect y'all to understand and know.
But could that not have been a mistake? It was a mistake. It was something on his part that he shared with you that wasn't true, at least to my knowledge.
Okay, that's fine.
And so what I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, is that no member of this board send any issue to any legislature. I can't say any, I have to represent my constituency too. And this limits me to any kind of, anything with my constituency. And I'm appalled by the fact that this board approved that. I didn't vote. But according to Robert's Rule of Order, if you didn't vote, then you're considered that you went, you agreed with it.
Yep.
So I just want that known, that I didn't vote for that night, I didn't agree with it. To be honest, it happened so fast, the motion and the vote that I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
That was a pretty,
I think we have enough policy here to take care of it anyway.
So, I mean,
because if something is not done tonight, I think there's going to be ramifications, because this is a pretty broad statement that is against our freedom of speech. I think if it don't get removed, I think there's going to be some further problems with this.
hold on. Then we'll move it to, I'll agree to move it to an action item. And then they can make the motion whatever they want. But at that point, ever how I vote, it's my business.
Right.
And you're saying though that if I don't vote a certain way, it's going to be ramifications.
No.
See, I take that as a threat.
No.
And you've
No.
made those kind of statements
I
up
didn't
here
mean it
before.
that way.
But I might not have meant it that way, but that's the way it came out. And you said stuff like that before. Yes, you have. You said if we don't do certain things a certain way, people will be removed from this board. And that's not a lie. I know you said that. But if y'all want to move it, I'll vote to move it. I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion, we move this to an action item.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Now, that's the end for me. What's y'all's motion?
Here's the motion. With reference to policy code 2340, section 8L, I move to rescind the motion passed during the April 20th, 2023 meeting, which states that no member of this board send any issue to any legislator or any body in Raleigh without the full board having knowledge of it. This is a clear infringement. Oh, no, stop there.
Your motion is to rescind the motion by Ms. Booth on the 20th. Okay? Got a motion?
Let's,
No. Can we have discussion, please?
yeah, let's,
We got a
let's,
second.
I got a
Charles, we
second.
might just read it again. I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to have
Basically
discussion.
rescinds the whole motion of Ms. Booth's on the April 20th meeting. Am
Okay.
I saying that correctly? All right? All right,
Okay.
you're recognized.
My discussion, because I seconded the motion, was, or is, this motion, in my opinion, and I'm not speaking for Ms. Booth, but I think she would agree, was maybe not worded in the way that was plain, but Ms. Booth and our motion was about no board member go to a representative or a senator and say that they are speaking on behalf of the school board. Now, that's already in there, but I think she wanted more clarification to make sure everybody knew, you, me, you can talk to anybody, anytime about anything. That's absolutely your right to do so. But Ms. Booth, you correct me, was your motion more about they could not do so and say, like Donald said, he says, I'm speaking on behalf of me, not the board?
Let me say what I want to say. Okay?
She made the motion.
That's right, I made it, so let me say what I want to say, okay? I said, I don't care who want to go somewhere and tell somebody something about their wife, or whatever, okay? I don't care, that doesn't matter to me. My motion clearly stated that no member of this board would go to any representative in Raleigh and say that the board sent a message to them, okay? That was it, without the consensus of this board. That was my motion. Now, I don't know how all that got in there that y'all talking about. I don't even know where they go.
That's what I read off the transcript. The thing is, we've got a board policy. Nobody's broken the board policy. And why are we doing this anyway? Other than, and as if you look at the transcript, several of you said, this is a good time to teach you a lesson, among other things. Now, I remember that. I remember it very well.
And you said that before, we didn't have these problems until.
I heard that one too.
Kerry said that. He
That
said,
did
we
not
didn't
come out
have
of
these
my mouth.
problems until you guys got elected. Well, you know what? The people elected us. We're representing the people. So tell the people that who elected us. All we're doing is trying to represent them. And our students and teachers and schools.
comment?
To the best of
Yes,
our
sir. Darren's
ability.
got
I'm
the
a
floor.
party of this also, and I went back and made a copy of the email. As I told you that night, I responded to an email or a phone call from one of our constituents that asked me to do something. They asked me to send some information to Keith Kidwell. And here's my email that I sent to him. And it starts out, it says, I received a call from Steve Rader that you would be interested in requesting a waiver from NCDPI. So I was responding, and the way I responded was I provided 3 links to a public website. So I didn't make any statement with regard to a board action or anything like that. I was responding to someone in the community that asked me to send some information to Keith Kidwell.
And you said that day?
I said that day. So
Yep.
the motion that was made was not clear enough to talk about anything about a board action. It did not mention a board action at all. And so that's a statement that I wanted to make. I sent Keith the information about the schools in North Carolina that currently use this curriculum that we were talking about, and I provided them links to the Hillsdale College website that provides the information that he was requesting.
All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor. If we don't have any more discussion, all in favor say aye, or you want a hand vote?
Hold on.
What do we repeat? Can we repeat that, please? What are we voting on?
Yeah, that's how we got.
We're voting on the motion that he just, to rescind
Rescind the
Silva's
motion
motion.
passed on April 20th, 2023 meeting, which states, there seems to be some debate about the wording, but that motion.
But it rescinds the whole motion. Mr.
Rescinds the whole
Booth made.
motion.
And the part that goes, because I don't think that it was actually written the way Ms. Booth actually said it. And the part on here, and I'm not changing your motion, I'm just saying that actually I think I can agree with it. It says on here about, and anybody in Raleigh. I guess in the anybody in Raleigh.
I get it.
That does kind of open it up to something else.
But if this policy already covers that, what is the need for rescinding anything? Can it just be stricken?
Because it's a
Because
bad
if it's
look, and
redundant.
people come to me and say, what in the world do they think you did wrong? What is that about? That's why. We've got board policies. Nobody's broken the board policies.
Let's vote.
I'm fine with the board policies.
Yeah, we're good.
Because it says anybody in Raleigh, and I did not really hear you say that night, then yeah, okay.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
I'm still confused.
Sorry.
I don't know what I'm voting on.
To rescind.
And I'm not going to vote. And I don't want to be a part of yes or no until I understand what we're actually voting on.
Mr. Chairman, we're voting to rescind that motion on April 20th.
So we just stricken it from the record. Is that what we're doing?
That's
Yes.
what I
I
assume.
mean, that's what we're going to be
Yes, and then you
doing,
go back
correct?
to the minutes and you notate this, tonight's minutes that on the September the 5th, that it was stricken out of the minutes at that month and rescinded.
From the April 20th.
Yes, sir.
Minutes.
That's what goes on.
Okay.
All right.
I guess.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no.
Nay.
All right, motion is now stricken from the record on April the 5th, I mean September 5th, sorry. Everybody good?
And they need to make sure they go back to the April 20.
Yeah, they're gonna-
The minutes, make a notation of that.
Matthew's got that.
Not tell you how to write it.
All right, we're going to that second part of action items. 5.1, Funga Christian Academy MOU tennis courts, Dr. Cheese.